The following podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. Welcome to our spooky table in the shed for a 3-part Halloween series. Meet Rutherford, played by Chris, Skeet, played by Mike, Seamus, played by Kurt, and Becky, played by Bridget. Let's see how they fare in Joe's game. Enjoy the podcast. Hi, and welcome to the Shed for Adventures from the Shed. We are here for a special Halloween episode in 2018. We're going to start our Halloween this year with creating characters for a new game system, kind of something we did last 3 years ago. 2015 was the one where we created everything as we went. We're going to go around the table and we'll say hi to the people who are here today. We'll start with this guy here.
Hey, it's Chris.
And?
Oh.
Yeah, you're next.
Yeah, there's no
I'm your friend, Mike. Spooky Mike Robertson.
Spooky Mike.
Spooky Mike.
Hey, it's Kurt.
And Bridget.
You muted.
And Bridget.
There it is. You did it backwards. We got to hear the chip when you weren't muted yet, though. And I'm Joe. I'm going to be the game master as we start today. While Bridget gives me the stare of death.
Master.
Stare of death is appropriate for the Halloween
It is.
episode.
It sure is.
It's a special power.
Hopefully I make it through. So for this first episode, we're going to meet the characters. And when I say meet the characters, it is meet and create the characters, because we're still writing on these character sheets I created. We're going to hear a little bit about how the game's going to be played. And we will get started. Who wants to talk a little bit about their about their character first?
This might be interesting with the age ranges, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, mine can't be any
I
older
guess we'll just have to work it out.
Mm-hmm.
because then my backstory doesn't work.
See, I feel like with guys, age doesn't matter. Because, like, you can
Right.
be, like, a 20-year-old with a 40-something-year-old friend.
Yeah.
But, like, if there's a 17-year-old woman hanging around, then it gets sort of tough.
Oh, it's the 40s. I mean, anything can happen.
I guess.
Wasn't that the 60s?
Yeah, that's why I was saying. And nowadays it might not be a big deal, but in
Yes,
the
we each have-
40s it would definitely not have been okay.
We each have the outline of a character, but we have not worked with each other, so that's
So
what
this
we're
is
gonna,
fun.
We're going to figure it out.
We haven't talked to each other at all about the
Nope.
characters.
Here we go.
Surprise.
So we're playing this game. The system I'm kind of making up as we go, but I have the basis of the system here. Each character has 4 stats. Those stats are smart, strong, fast, and calm. And on those 4 stats, or with those, you're going to put those next to a D4, a D6, a D8, or a D10. That will indicate how good you are, or how important that stat is to the way you're going to play your character. When we come up against a task or anything that will involve a die roll, there will be one stat that applies to it. That is the one that you will roll against. If there is something about your character that could convince me that you should roll a different, or another die, I should say, a second die to add to that roll, you'll describe it, and we'll see if it works. The only exception is you cannot use your weakest stat as the second die. So your weakest stat is going to be such that it's useless to think you could add it to anything. So if you're not that smart, then trying to pretend you're smart isn't going to help your task. That kind of thing is. So the idea here is I want more failures, because we normally don't have a lot of failures at the table, and I want bad stuff to happen. Speaking of, there's a bad stuff section on your character sheet. As you have any failures, you will mark off a bad stuff block. And at some point, that's really going to make some difference, I hope.
If they're all filled in, do you die?
Well, not yet. I haven't completed that bad stuff mechanic. I'm going to see how it works as we get started. It'll depend on how many failures happen.
All right.
All right. So let's talk a little about who has put in the stuff on their sheet so far. Looks like Mike.
I have. I guess the guy I came up with was Skeet. Skeet's the local mechanic. He runs Mosquito Motors with his brother Clem.
Mosquito Motors.
Yeah. And he's a wiry man. He's got overalls and a faded cowboy or Cubs hat.
Are they let me think, honest mechanics? Because I mean, if your motto is a bloodsucker,
I think Skeet's very honest.
okay, he's oblivious to the idea that it's a bloodsucker on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He just
Okay.
likes it.
Now
cool.
I'm not feeling so comfortable about going camping.
That's good. We don't want to be comfortable
Yeah.
for this episode.
But I'm
Well,
thinking,
you got to start comfortable.
but I'm thinking Skeet would be strong from like lifting things in the the
Translations and
workshop.
whatnot.
Yeah.
He'd probably be fairly calm because I figure he's probably one of those guys that doesn't really. A lot of things don't bother him too much. He just sort of works to himself.
So he doesn't shout a lot when the wrench slips or anything.
Yeah. Maybe fast for the third one because he's definitely not smart, but I mean, he's an endearing soul, I guess.
All right. What would be part of the reason that he needs to take a break and go camping?
Well, I'm
I'm going to ask that of everybody, by the way. So think about that.
I guess with where they live in like Tennessee.
Yeah, everyone's going to be from the same area in Tennessee, and you'll be camping in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, out in the middle of nowhere.
So I guess he would probably just sort of be talked into it by his friends, and then like he found a weekend that his brother could watch the shop, so so he got out and went out in the woods, which he probably does fairly often because it's probably not a whole lot to do around there.
All right. Who else wants to talk about their character some?
I've been voted.
Go ahead, Lenore.
I'm not. No, Lenore is not here.
She wouldn't remember if she was.
What?
What?
My character's name is Rebecca Hall, and I'm
Is
17.
it Rebecca or Becky or Bexters?
Well, the nickname's Becky,
Becky.
and that's so you can say, "Hecky Becky."
Becky. Becky.
Very nice.
My favorite card thing ever.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, that has to happen. At least once it has to happen.
It probably started in the 40s. Who knows?
So
Probably.
I'm just a general teenager, senior in high school. I live in a foster home. My parents were killed when I was 6 years old.
By a cult?
And no, in a car crash, actually,
It's not a cult.
which I survived. I was in the car with them. Probably.
Fire starter.
But I'm kind of tomboyish. I hang out with the kid next door, who I don't know his name yet.
Seamus.
Oh, maybe I don't.
Used to be.
Second thought, I don't hang out with
It's
them.
short for shameless.
Shameless.
Oh.
Shameless Seamus.
That could be very true.
Yeah.
But yeah, my motivation is I'm running away because I'm only 17, so I can't be on my own yet, but I hate living in this foster home. And I'm running away because my friend said he's going camping. I'm going to go hang out with him and his friends.
So how does Becky's stats line up? What kind of person is she when it comes to those?
Smart is at the top. So she's very smart. She's got good grades. She just doesn't really care about school. Very calm, since she's had to deal with a bunch of adversity, and maybe diversity too.
Yeah.
The third one is fast, and the last one is strong. Not particularly strong.
Okay.
But
It's like the
I try to
reverse
think.
of,
I try to think
Skeetus.
It's
my way out.
close, yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Why would she be taking a break to go camping? Yes, she's running away. What caused her to want to run away this most recent time? I'm guessing she probably tried before. Or is this the first time?
No, my stepmom wanted to put me in a home for wayward girls because I keep running away.
Okay.
So I'm gone.
He'll show her.
You said your step parents?
My foster parent.
Okay, who's
So not
next?
step parent, foster parents.
Foster parents.
Gotcha.
I don't like them. I don't want to be there.
I can go next. Since I live next door, Seamus lives next
Yeah.
door to Becky, which is how they know each other. I had him kind of being young to mid-20s, which I think probably works in this case.
Someone for her to look up to.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not unusual that we would be friends. Just kind of maybe a little sister kind of thing. And the main things that I thought about when thinking about the character were that his parents were wiped out financially in the Great Depression, and partially as a subconscious reaction to that, he developed. He's a gambling addict. He will gamble on anything. So he particularly likes to play cards and poker, and he thinks of himself as a kind of a card sharp, but he will gamble on anything. He's got a benzodrine habit, which back then was like early speed amphetamines, in part because he's used to trying to stay up all night playing cards. And so those were kind of the main things I thought about. In terms of his look, he is like an Irish, what I would call an Irish Mick. And being from an Irish family, I hope I can say that. He's got kind of a fighter's face. He wears a kind of a middle-class tweed three-piece suit, but he usually has lost the jacket, so he's just wearing the vest and shirt and slacks. And as far as his stats, I put strong, then smart. But when I say smart, it's kind of gambling smarts, not necessarily street smarts. He's not educated.
That's what we'll find out.
And then calm. This is the third one. He's usually calm when he's playing cards, but he's not, going to be calm in this situation, particularly if he's up on speed.
Yeah.
And then last is fast because he's just a lumbering Irish Mick. He's not a runner.
And that's why he has a fighter's face, because he doesn't run away.
Exactly. Yeah. So, how's that sound? Does that work?
Why would he be going camping?
Oh, I had thought of this earlier. Shoot, I had a rationale for it. Oh, because Skeet, who he knows from town, loves to camp, but he also loves to lose money playing cards. So I try to hang out with him as often as possible.
Okay.
And here comes Grandpa.
Let's go. Let's go to the old man. Hey, Chris.
That old.
Not that old.
My name, guys.
Well, in the 40s, when you were 40, you were 80. So
not necessarily. I mean,
I know I'm exaggerating.
You're
like 78.
My great grandparents lived to like 100 or something.
Yeah.
So they lasted. Anyway, a character's name is Rutherford Aloysius Devidander Abercrombie III.
What do people call him?
Randy.
No, everything. He never settles for less.
whatever they can remember. So I set him up as a World War I flying ace. So he's back. He was a pilot in World War I, and now he's a small town southern lawyer. So I'm assuming from a small town. He's in his mid 40s. He's clean cut. He's kind of like a Howard Hughes looking kind of guy with a thin mustache, and he's always well dressed. Camping, he might dress it down a little bit, but I'd say like maybe he could be one of the lawyers for the Skeeters guys or something. He's helped them out before, and he hangs out with him every once in a while. And he likes to take money from Seamus anytime he's gambling.
I picture as a simple
So,
Southern lawyer.
you
have
I'm
suspenders
going
and
camping.
full time.
So a 17-year-old girl is going camping with a speed addict gambler
I know. I was almost going to be like, I should
creepy
be his
mechanic,
pusher man.
and a lawyer who's
Yeah.
also a gambler. This sounds like fun.
So I set him up
Better than the foster home.
So I set his stats up as calms, his his top thing, then fast, then smart, then strong. So he's more about the speed, with fast reflexes when he's piloting and all that.
So he's a
He
dumb lawyer.
reacts smoothly.
Well, not super. I mean, he's like simple.
No, I know.
stuff.
I'm just kidding.
Do you know any dumb lawyers, Kurt?
More than a few. God, I played poker with a bunch of them on Thursday night. Degenerates.
How many of them listen to this podcast?
None.
Okay. They're not smart enough, is what you're saying.
Aw.
All right. So we have a little bit of information about the characters now. As far as where you're going camping, Kurt, I thought of this after you sent me your thing last night, and you just mentioned it, how your parents were wiped out during the Depression. And I assume you mean financially, not like killed because of the
financially.
Depression.
Yeah.
So just recently, they were going through some old information, and they found the map to an old camping ground that apparently was part of the family a long time ago. And it's kind of secluded out in the middle of nowhere in Oak Ridge, which isn't far from where y'all live. But that has piqued your interest as a place to go check out for camping. It looks like it's kind of a side, like a trail off of a side road. So it's like a side road off of a side road, and then there's a trail off of that. Probably hasn't been used in a long time, and maybe that's the place to go check out. And
it's going to be one of those trails where we go over it and then it disappears and nobody can find the.
That's the idea. Yeah.
Roll for
Railway style.
Yeah.
Yes. Roll for freakoutedness. So how do you guys get together for a camping trip? There's not a whole lot of email going on in the 40s.
I mean, I feel like Seamus might be sort of the ringleader on setting these up, and Skeet just sort of goes with it. He shows up to the garage and he's like, "Oh, we're going camping this weekend," and Seamus is like, "Okay."
That'd probably be Skeet saying that.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Because Seamus is all, he just wants to make money off people.
Well,
Of
and,
course.
yeah, and if we do it that way, then
To get his habit rolling.
I can kind of drag you along, and just because you're running away, and it's literally like you have nowhere to go, and that way it's not super creepy. I'm like, look, we're having a guys
We're
camping
friends.
trip. We'll be gentlemen, if you want to get. It's better than sleeping on the street tonight.
I
Come
know
with us.
you'll look out for me.
bring any money that you do have, right?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, too, with these guys, especially with Skeet, he's a friend, so I can't win every time because then he won't keep playing with me. So I got a whole hustle going on. Like, it's a long game.
I have $4 today.
You're rich.
All right, so I'm going to go through a few. Now we know a little bit about the characters. I'm going to go through these questions now to try and establish some more stuff so we can kind of set more of a tone. These are some of the questions should be familiar because they're questions we went through before. And if they're not, it doesn't matter. We can just answer them as they go. So one of you doesn't keep up with current events. Who? And for that matter, why do you not? So you don't know. This person doesn't know anything about what's going on outside of their own little world.
Probably a 17-year-old.
She might read the paper, huh?
Could be one of these two, I would say.
Yeah.
No,
Definitely not my guy.
I mean, smart's her first
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
thing, so she probably would.
So maybe Skeet.
Well, smart doesn't mean to
Maybe.
be informed, though, on current events. Just
Right.
You can figure things out. You're logical. You can figure things
I mean, I'm fine doing that. He doesn't have to be particularly interested in what's happening in the world.
I think Skeet's still nervous about the war,
Yeah.
but he other than that, he might not be very concerned about anything outside of town.
Okay. We'll put it like that then.
Well, I certainly have no faith in government or interest in government or business in light of what happened to my parents during the Depression. So I'm kind of not a loner in terms of personality, but not
Trust
a
no one.
joiner. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So I could see being pretty disinterested in most of the stuff.
Okay.
It's funny. It would be funny if he is as knowledgeable though of like the horse races, like the results from the horse races in town
Now that
instead of the war.
That would definitely be true. And if we're in Tennessee, there's got to be some good cockfighting around. I mean, I'm keyed in there.
Hey, I think you can still do duels in Tennessee. Even though make some bets on that.
There's a good probability. For any of the characters or all of them, I'm not counting the camping trip we're doing right now, but what was the event that brought characters together? So kind of like, how did you meet? And it can be with any other person. It doesn't have to be you're all getting together now, but previously, how did you meet?
I would say I got my car repaired at Skeet's place, and then
Okay.
formed a relationship with business relationship like that.
Yeah, I think Skeet's sort of like a fixture in town. So
Yeah.
everyone in
Everybody
town
who has a
knows
car.
Skeet because he's the only mechanic shop in town.
So,
would
Chris,
you-
what is your character's nickname? Because I'm going to keep typing Ruth for now.
Randy.
I've been typing Ruth because you started with Rutherford.
Yeah,
so-
just do Rutherford.
All right, Rutherford.
Oh,
Rutherford.
I'll race Randy.
We could call him Old Man Ford.
Old man Ford.
I mean,
Not even that old.
yeah, you're old.
Compared to
Maybe I'll. I
I'm
actually
ancient compared to her.
I used to hunt with a guy who was like 90 when I met him, and he was Old Man Ford, and his name was Rutherford.
Yeah.
So I might call you that.
Okay, that works.
All right, so that would be a way for Rutherford to have met Skeet. Who else? How did anybody else meet anybody else?
I mean, it sounds like you're sort of a troublemaker in a way with the
good-hearted
gambling and
troublemaker.
stuff.
Good-hearted
So maybe he was your lawyer. Like, it makes more sense that he is your lawyer because I don't think Skeet is a troublemaker.
Yeah, I don't envision him as a troublemaker. I envision him as just he's
like
good-hearted,
like a prankster at worst.
Yeah, but you can get into mischief like vandalism or something stupid like that. You know,
yeah,
like
for
it,
sure. Yeah, I
Doesn't
mean, you
do
could be my
anything
lawyer, or
that
you could
hurts
play. You could play
anybody.
in my regular game. Whatever
You're
you
right.
guys
Yeah, it
want.
could be both.
I mean, when I say he'll gamble on anything, it's not that he's a total degenerate. It's that he's the kind of guy that, like, in addition to liking playing cards on the horses, like, he'll bet you on who can run to the next tree faster if the odds are right. Like, I'll give you 2-1. You can't beat Becky to the next tree.
Never tell me the odds.
Or drag racing in town, you know.
And I've been in this foster home for 2 or 3 years now, and the guy Seamus lives next door, so we kind of met when I was out in the yard.
Yeah, so Becky,
He bet me I couldn't climb to the top of a tree, and I did it.
I like it.
Cool. So Seamus, was that your house or your parents' house or what? I mean, I know you're old enough to be out of the house.
It's my house. It's kind of a starter home for me.
Okay. All right. Somebody here recently had a run-in with the law. Who was it?
Me. I ran away from
Becky?
home.
What was the outcome? Obviously, you're
the police
back.
found me and brought me back,
Okay.
and I got grounded for a month.
Okay. Month. Okay. Two of you had an incident in the past that caused you to trust each other more. Which two? And then what was the incident?
Are you going to say that everybody knows about your addiction or not?
I think if the way I'm hearing this is if you know Seamus, you know that he wants to bet on everything, but you might not know that he has a drug problem.
Well, maybe I
As it
know
were.
about it, and that's what got him in trouble, and I kind of
That
helped
could
him
be.
out.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah.
There you go.
And it's not like benzodrine's not like heroin. I'm not like in the
Right.
gutter. It's just it's early uppers basically. It's speed. So I
Plus,
use it to keep awake when I'm.
were there
like-
any illegal drugs in the 40s?
That's a good
I
question.
don't think anything had been illegalized yet.
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I could have been in trouble during Prohibition. I would definitely have bad booze at my games.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. I mean, and Old Man Ford here could have helped me out.
All right, so if that's what it's going to be, if we're going to say it, Seamus and Rutherford,
When did Prohibition end?
what was the actual incident that happened? This is the idea. The idea is at some point it could be, remember when I saved your ass, blah, 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 right? That kind of thing. That we develop that story now so that we can use it later if we need to.
I could totally see like me having not paid off the right cop, like the local cop, to look away from
Yeah.
something, and then the cop put a hurt on me, something like that.
Okay.
I mean, we're from a relatively small town, right?
Yep.
So
We're going to say yeah for now. It just makes it easier.
yeah.
I mean, it could be opposite too. Like you could take the fall for something to make, because he seems like a respectable man in the community, so he could take the fall and still make you look good.
Yeah, but I'm not. My character's not somebody that would be up to
Not
no good. Yeah.
Yep, no good.
He wouldn't have did anything that Seamus had to fall for.
Yeah.
Okay. So then somebody here had an incident that forced them to relocate in the past. Who? And what was the incident?
Well, I don't want
We're going to skip you for now because you've been part of most of them.
Yeah, I know.
So it's not Becky at this time. So one of the other three here had an incident in their past that forced you to relocate to where you live today.
I don't know that this would be that interesting, but I would have had to have left the family farm because my parents lost it.
Yeah, that's not an incident.
Yeah.
Did they bet the farm?
Maybe I bet.
He did. You know, that I would accept as an incident. You lost the family farm in a
Pretty good.
bet.
Like he was trying to make good, and it went bad.
I was
The
like,
deal went bad.
I was too young. I was like 12 when this happened.
Well, you never know. 12 back then is 20.
Bet you weren't too young.
See what I mean? And you think you're not 80.
Yeah.
How about
60.
I don't know.
Youngins.
I sort of think Skeet has grown up in this town, and like this town is all he knows. So
it's not Skeet.
I don't think it's Skeet. I
kind of wanted to keep. I mean, I can be, but
Right.
I'm trying to think what incident would make sense.
Seamus.
So I used to live in, let's say, Nashville or wherever an appropriate large city was.
Okay.
And the local mobsters did not like me running games and taking book and doing the kind of things that I was doing for fun, and they ran me out of town.
Only because it's funny to me, I've decided to type, Seamus got run out of Nashville by redneck mobsters.
I mean, or out of anywhere. It could be anywhere. But it sounds like my family's from Tennessee, so.
Yeah, it sounds good. This can be for anybody except Becky, because of the whole parent thing. What blood relation that you have do you wish never existed? A hated uncle, a younger sibling, an older sibling, whatever it might be.
I mean, I could probably take that one.
I mean, it can be everybody. I'm going to say except Becky because the whole family thing is special on her character.
Because, like, well, I think he's very close to his brother Clem. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe his dad wasn't real great growing up.
To the point that you would say Skeet wishes his dad never existed. Because that's what I'm looking for. It's vitriolic. You definitely, this is a relative that, better if they never existed.
I mean, he can be. I mean, it's fine.
Okay. So we've got Skeet's dad. Anybody else?
You want each to have one, or?
Specifically anybody. And remember, the idea here is at some point it's going to be scary. So you can anticipate that your dad's going to show up, Skeet. He may or may not, but we'll find out.
My uncle Albus is a complete jackass because he is very well off and did nothing to help his brother, my father, during the financial crisis. And he could have, and he chose not to.
Albus.
Selfish prick.
Albus, selfish prick. Fish prick. Gosh, I cannot spell today. My spelling is horrible. All right. Anybody on this one? What is your biggest loss in your life? Now, it might be obvious for Becky. Parents.
Parents.
Yeah. Anybody else?
My faith in the system.
Any specific system? Government itself or any governing system?
I just think, I was kind of like 12, 13 during the Depression, and that's basically like world collapse for a lot of people, The economic system didn't work. The government couldn't help us. Almost starving.
So what I'm going at, though, is like, say in Nashville, if you were in a casino, would you not trust the casino because it's part of a system? Or
yes, I would not trust it.
So
and I would have no problem cheating or making the rules work for me, because at the end of the day, you really just have yourself to.
Almost any kind of system that controls the current situation is something you're not fond of, kind of thing.
And I would just always put my own judgment and actions ahead of those of the other system, which doesn't mean I don't have friends that I can trust in things, but at a larger level, anything kind of distant or imposed from above, he would be skeptical of.
My guy's he lost his entire squadron in the war. He barely survived on one of their runs, which ties into his fear of failing his comrades.
What
was the question again, Joe?
What was the biggest loss in your life?
Gotcha.
Skeet.
I think Skeet's mom's not around, so she's either died or left when he was very young, and then.
She left because your dad
sort of just and he was
Have
just sort of stuck
always
with his
suspected
dad.
Your dad?
Yeah.
That could be another reason to wish he hadn't existed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seamus also, what was it, greatest loss?
The biggest loss in your life?
Yeah, he really enjoyed losing his virginity.
Okay. Well, I'm looking for something that's very I'll just type Seamus lost hymen. That was his dog's name. What are you guys thinking? You're so sick.
Buster Hyman?
That was his dog's name. Yes.
I keyed.
I keyed so much. All right. Here's another one. And this, again, can be anybody or everybody. What does your character know about another character that causes you to distrust them? So, sowing seeds of distrust, that's the point here.
For me, it's Seamus. Like, he's always got to take... I'd rather he just, work things out naturally instead of taking a drug.
Okay. Next?
I was wondering if I could use the drug thing, too, because, I don't know if,
Are you his pusher? How do you know he's
no,
doing that?
I didn't know if, maybe if they were at a game or playing a game and he occasionally will, pop one and, he just sort of thinks, the drug stuff sort of makes the town look bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that it would be that hidden in 1942. It's
It would be up to your character, I would say, right?
Yeah. I don't think it would be. I think it would just be part of how he gets through the day.
Okay.
Like he's smoking a cigarette.
As an aside, I just learned in researching this, I don't know how I never knew this, but you know that Elton John song, Benny and the Jets?
Yeah.
Benny is
taking a
benzodrine
Benny.
and Jets is amphetamines.
Yeah.
Had no idea.
Taking a Benny.
It wasn't some guy named Benjamin going to see the New York Jets.
It was not.
Yeah, not in this case. Anybody else? Something that caused your character to distrust another character. Anyway, so it's all about the drugs.
I don't really know.
It's the tough thing with hers. If she's just running away, I don't know if the two of us would know her.
Yeah, I don't really know. The only one I really know is Seamus.
All right, so what is, if anything, what has he done that would cause you to distrust him? And it could be just for that one thing.
You bet me $10 that I couldn't climb to the top of a tree. That was a little sketchy.
But I think he just wanted to watch my butt.
That's it.
Well, but what about you? Are you just the nice little good girl who keeps running away? Or are you I probably have
She's the
more
girl
reason to
next door.
distrust you than
That's
you
a
to
good
distrust
point.
me.
Now make something up then that would make that happen. What
I
has
don't want to
she
write
done?
her character.
No,
Suspicious
that's
circum-
what, but that's what we're doing here.
I'm
Suspicious
not a good
circumstances
girl.
about her parents dying in a car wreck. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
think,
how come I was the only one that survived?
yeah, I mean,
It wasn't the airbag, not in 42. Or seatbelt.
I think I like her because she's kind of spunky and fun, but I just have a general sense that she's not quite right.
Okay.
She's
not quite.
I'm not sure.
Vanilla, but she's not.
Yeah, I mean, and she's. I don't know. Like I said, I want to chart the course of your character, so I'll just leave it at that and just say she's fun.
Maybe
and I
I
like
tried
her.
to hit on you once. I had a crush on you. And then you kind of squashed it. But now you're not sure if she's going to try something again or
If you want,
I don't know.
Yeah, and just in general, that there's the fact that she's always running away, and she's always kind of getting in trouble with the cops. There's obviously something wrong in her head.
All right.
And as a result of that, if she wants to hit on me, that's totally fine. I got a fighter's face, though. It's not that attractive.
Well, you're that neighbor that she started looking up to, so it's more of an organic crush. maybe.
More of we challenge each other.
Yeah. And all right, so the next two are really just around property to get us started. Who owns the vehicle that you're using to go camping? Now, if you remember, I wrote out that there was a car and a trailer. I don't mind if it's a mechanic's truck, but I want everybody to be sitting together. So
I can own the
to me, it
vehicle.
made sense to be a sedan. That's why I did that.
I can own it.
Because otherwise, having a conversation on the way, shouting to somebody in the back of the truck, doesn't fit so easy.
Yeah,
Sure.
I can,
Oh, that's fine.
I can own the vehicle.
Okay. So we have that, and then who's bringing what for camping gear? I'm guessing Becky probably doesn't bring anything unless she steals it on her way out.
Yeah, my
Is she a thief?
foster parents don't really have anything. I'll grab some snacks and stuff, some granola bars and maybe some Fanta or Tab or whatever kind of.
I
couple
never really
cans
thought
of
about
soda.
it, but what canned drinks were in the 40s?
Yeah, when did
Probably
Coke-
bottled.
When did Coke
It
come
probably
out?
was bottles, yeah.
Yeah, it was you probably get local birch beer or
And it's in
cream
glass
sodas in
bottles.
glass bottles.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would bring my shotguns so we could shoot some rabbits for dinner if we need to, that kind of thing.
All right.
I'm definitely bringing a
I'm typing
pistol
this
for the same
down.
reason. Some old, still usable military gear I could use for camping.
Okay.
Yeah, stuff to cook in, things like that.
Yeah, you probably have like the old olive green tarps and things
Yeah,
like that
yeah.
that would be helpful.
Okay.
Knife, same thing. If we want to, anything we can go hunting with and
I think Skeet,
dress an animal.
Skeet might have a secret skill that he is a superb chef, even though he doesn't look like it. So he might have some cast iron pots and pans, maybe.
I mean,
that
that sounds
possible?
good. That sounds
Yeah.
possible.
He is. He looks like a big beefy mechanic, but he's actually got a love of spices that just makes for pure delight in the evening.
I do like paprika.
Have you played Borderlands?
Yes.
Because in my mind, I can't remember the guy's name, but there's a mechanic in there he runs the Catch a Ride.
Yeah.
Catch a Ride.
Yeah.
Huh.
In my mind, that's who you're playing.
Might be Skeet as well.
Yeah, it is. What else? So far you've got soda, guns, of course, because I said it was Halloween, so you got to bring guns.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Tents, like canvas, what have you, pots and pans. Who would bring food?
Well, I'm bringing granola and snacks.
Yeah, some kind of dry foods.
Like I
Yeah.
raided the pantry because that was the first thing I could think of to grab because I can't grab much else.
Okay.
Bring some sandwiches.
Sandwiches. What would you bring to cook over a campfire?
Yeah, are we trying to just to hunt for stuff, or are we bringing stuff ahead of time? Cook over there.
Well, it's technically a
Scooter.
camping trip, not a hunting trip. So maybe you hunt while you're there, but you're
Right.
not going to hunt
Yeah.
because
Bring
you don't
some
even know what's out there.
We'd probably bring some eggs.
Eggs,
and
bacon, yeah.
you know,
Hot dogs.
sausage.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was Scooter's Catch a Ride.
Scooters. Yeah.
Scooter.
But his sister called him Skeet or Skeeter, something like that. The big chick.
Do we
in,
have
the
like a
junkyard.
cooler with ice and stuff?
Do you?
I don't have anything.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Somebody might.
I mean, you guys camp more, so you would have
Yeah.
like probably a lantern and cooler and tents. I'm trying to think of all the stuff my grandfather had when he went camping.
I think we would probably set up
'Cause
like
he camped in
a
the
tarp,
40s.
you know, like an olive green army tarp
Yep.
with
Yep.
ropes, and have a lantern and a makeshift table, like that
Nice
kind of thing.
Coleman ice chest.
Yeah, I don't even know what they would have back there.
Coleman
but you'd have like a
lanterns.
chunk of ice in it, right, and chip it off probably because you didn't have
Possibly,
ice
yeah.
makers.
They had regular coolers, like insulated coolers like we have. They were just not constructed the same way. They had thermoses too.
That's true.
Yeah, thermoses for sure.
Yep.
Well, then the thermoses were glass inside of the aluminum or whatever.
One of the things
metal.
I had sent out that I thought was cool. This is this photo that I had sent out. This is an actual photo of a campsite in Yosemite in 1942, so it's period accurate, and it matches kind of what you're saying.
Yep.
The tent and the tarp. Well, obviously the old car, a folding wooden chair, a little campfire, what have you. So I thought that was good.
My grandfather was in World War II. He used to go camping after he got back. He always had his green canvas duffel bag with his name and everything on it. It was really cool.
Your microphone
My mic
keeps
is-
going in and out,
yeah.
and it's probably because it's being pulled in a certain direction.
But I'm
We'll
not
find
pulling
out.
it
We'll find
anywhere.
out. It happens.
I think Skeet might have
do it.
he might have some tools just sort of on him, like if
Any
Seamus
cars.
shows up, like
it
he
would-
might just have him in pockets and stuff.
It would make sense that if you're going in somebody else's car, you could anticipate it might break down,
Yeah.
and you're ready to try and repair it on the road too.
Agreed.
Probably
good.
throw a toolbox in the back, kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
And there will be a little teardrop trailer with all the stuff in it being hauled behind. And the idea for the things I picked out were a couple of older things. So the car was like a 1936, the same as the trailer. Figuring you probably don't have a brand new thing in the 40s or the early 40s, because they stopped a lot of production and started gathering metal to do war stuff. So you're not necessarily going to have a new car then.
Now that trailer thing that you sent a picture of,
Yep, this one.
that's you don't sleep in that trailer.
I mean, one person
Good.
might be
Yeah, you
able to,
could.
but my idea was it's a small enclosed trailer that you would have your stuff in, so you wouldn't have to worry about rain or whatever. That's about
Okay.
it. Yeah, if you were camping alone or maybe with one other person, you might be able to sleep in it. Unless you're claustrophobic, then probably not. And then that would be Ruth's car. All right. And it's a Nash Ambassador.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I wanted to pick a car that wasn't around anymore, or a company that wasn't around anymore. Nash ain't around no mo. All right. So now we have all that stuff figured out. We learned a little bit about the characters and a little bit of their history with each other. Of course, each of you has your own history you can draw upon as we get going, but that can get us started. I've kind of split this up into scenes, the way we might expect a movie to go. So first, we'll start, I guess, with Rutherford, in that you have the car, and just out of practicality, we'll say you have the trailer as well. You're going to drive around and pick people up to go camping.
Yeah, I would assume we could just all
meet.
meet at the mechanic's place.
Okay.
That's the pickup.
Does
spot.
Becky have a ride there? I mean, does everybody? I mean,
Well, she's like
fly.
she's a last minute tag along.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if she's
but
coming until she
she'd
shows
probably
up.
show up with Seamus then.
Right.
Yeah, I would bring her.
You guys brought food and tents. I brought a girl.
Seamus is like, I brought the entertainment.
Okay.
She's like, I made a big mistake.
Think I'm gone.
I don't know. It's the Me Too era. I don't think we should go this way.
I did not put willpower as a stat. So let's not worry about that.
I've
yet.
got a 7 in date rape. Oh, no, I don't. I did.
Funny, see, to me, although that's, poor taste, the funny part to me was you said 7, and I did it by dice. There's no 7-sided die, so I'm thinking, how's he going to roll a 7? I'm just a dork. All right, so everybody gets picked up. You're in the car, and what I want to hear is the characters talking on this, call it an hour drive, and Seamus, you're going to probably have to be the navigator because you have that map and directions to the family's old camping spot. And I'm gonna say that you guys, kind of the guys at least, planned ahead of time. That's where you were going, so it's no surprise that you take out a map in some directions, right?
Is this like straight up woods, or is it a mountainous region in the wood or something?
It is hilly, close to mountains. Yeah.
The site's right off of like Piglet Tail Road, right?
Well, it is now, yeah. However, Piglet Tail Road is off of Pigtail Road, which is off of Pig Road, which is next to Swine Interstate.
Okay.
Right?
Easy to get lost up in the
Yes.
mountains.
A lot of pig roads up
It
here.
smells like bacon.
Driving
The
the holler.
whole area.
This country smells wonderful.
It does.
Smells like America.
It smells exactly like America.
America.
America. So you guys are all together. Maybe the first thing you do is you get in the car with the girl. What happens?
I see we got an extra passenger.
Yeah, I hope you all don't mind. This is my friend Becky. She's got a rough spot, and
I think we got enough provisions to handle it.
I brought some soda and granola.
That sounds amazing.
all right.
Is this your girlfriend, Seamus?
No, it's not my girlfriend. She lives next door to me. She's all right. She's a fine young dame.
Fine, young.
No slapping the dames.
No slapping the dames.
Yes, that was an email exchange ahead of time.
We're all Southern gentlemen here.
Hey, old man. I bet you $1 it takes us less than an hour to get there.
Oh, you're on.
All right.
He knows how to drive slow. Keep going. You guys are going to be in the car for an hour.
So it looks like we've got good weather for the weekend.
Where are we going exactly?
Oh, going up. Is this an old family place?
Yes, so it's a place that your parents had never been to, but when they were going through stuff in boxes, they found information.
Okay,
on
so
how to
his
get
parents had never even been there.
No.
So I'm like, okay.
there. Yeah, but it's
but
in
we-
the family. From what you can tell, it's owned by the family.
Right. So it's I guess it's a old family property. We didn't really know about, but it's somewhere up there off of Little Piglet Road. So I got it mapped out here. I think we can find it no problem. So I think it'll be pretty nice. It's kind of right before you get up in the foothills. Should be real pretty this time of year.
Sounds
Early
good.
fall, nice pretty time to be there. Might be a little cool at night, but, down in the holler.
Well, I don't mind that. I was in England for a few years. It's kind of chilly.
So I was gonna say that that's gonna be chillier than here in Tennessee.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
How did you not know about property that you owned?
Well, it's in the family. My parents found some papers and made old deed when they were going through stuff recently. Mom passed away recently, and so Dad's clearing out things and found this. So go check it out.
Sorry to hear that.
Well, me too. She was a good woman.
As a side note here, it was mentioned that there was soda. I was just trying to look up what sodas might have been in 1942. And what I found about soda in 1942 was that in that year, the American Medical Association recommended Americans limit intake of added sugar, specifically mentioning soft drinks.
So there was definitely soda.
Just this year that they started saying you might want to drink less.
No way, man.
We Americans really took that advice to heart.
But it was still
Yeah.
it was still 10 years before the first low-calorie soft drink. So there isn't a low-calorie option right now when it comes to soft
Tab
drinks.
the first low-calorie?
No, it was called the No-Cal beverage, a ginger ale sold by Kirsch.
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 Skeet loves him some Dr. Pepper.
Could be. That's probably when it still had cocaine in it, right?
Oh, yeah.
The most delicious of the Dr. Peppers.
All right. So y'all still are going in the car. What other conversations? Now, one of the things I want out of this trip is somebody is going to mention the fear they have as part of a story during the drive.
How
I'll
long
let
do you
guys.
think it'll take us to get there?
Well, I just bet it's going to take us less than an hour, so I hope it's less than an hour.
Is it going to be dark, you think, by the time we get there, or is it still going to be
Shouldn't be.
daylight?
Yeah, I would say we left, late morning or something? Or?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
we're fine.
I'm terrified of...
I suppose it
Driving in a
depends
car
on
at
how
night.
long the old man drives here.
It's okay. I can handle it.
I just have a thing about driving
flying. Night
in the
missions.
back seat of a car at night.
Uh,
That's when my...
I was flying through bad weather and pitch blackness.
Are you
We
black?
fine.
Are you black now?
No.
Pitch black. That's the way he's flying through.
Y'all, I'm just terrified of having to poop in the woods. I really don't like the thought of that, so I'm going to try to hold it in all weekend.
Whatever you do, make sure you bury it.
Could you please be terrified of pooping in a car? Don't care about the woods.
Just hang your butt out the back.
I bet you can't hold it all weekend.
You bet me? Oh, how much?
There's going to be a lot of bets.
I got a
bet.
silver dollar in my pocket.
Oh, and at this point, Seamus
Maybe.
takes out, he's got a little reporter's pad in his back pocket, and he takes it out with his pencil, and he writes 2 lines, and he's written down the 2 bets he's just made. So, you're on.
Oh, man, that's good.
I wouldn't worry too much about getting into an automobile crash. The ambassador is very safe.
It is. The National Ambassador is a heck of a vehicle.
Yeah.
It's like a tank.
Oh, yeah.
Just as a note, when we start talking about how much you're going to bet, Seamus, your cost to rent your house is $30 a month.
It is.
Yes. A bottle of Coca-Cola is only 5 cents.
Oh, then $1 is way too much.
Yeah,
Okay.
when Rutherford bought his car, it cost $800 new.
I might bet $1 with him.
That's
but
not too
we,
bad.
we,
Two
we bet a
bets.
nickel.
2 bets or a nickel.
And,
not
and,
his-
A bottle of Coke. I bet you a bottle of Coke.
and,
You're on.
And Skeet at his mechanic's job makes about $1,000 a year. Well, his to rent a house is $30 a month. $1,000 a year.
I'm worth every penny.
I wanted to show y'all. This is actually my grandparents' house in Chicopee in Massachusetts. They had a car like that.
Oh yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah.
And that's probably the kind of house that you were just in your foster home.
No,
That kind of car
wasn't that
probably
nice.
just-
It was a piece of crap.
All right, fine.
Hated it. Oh yeah, and they used to
sack of
park
crap.
their horse outside too.
So we have this information. So thinking about that, when you go to bet, that you're only paying $30 a month to rent a house.
Got it.
Yep. And
So we'll do nickel bets.
yeah, it says average wages are about $1,800 a year. I figure a mechanic's definitely making below an average wage if he's in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So figure about $1,000 a year, and When you go to bet, and I actually thought of looking it up, Bridget, because you said you had a silver dollar in your pocket. That would definitely be a fine that you would bet. A bet that you're sure you could win, like holding his poop all weekend. You're pretty sure you could win that. That's probably worth a silver dollar bet.
Here, have some of this. Here, eat this.
Another Coke.
Here, you want some coffee? What's a cigarette?
His hot dogs smell a little off.
Yes,
You should try one.
Here's some granola.
So who's the Boy Scout in this group in terms of outdoor skills? Probably you, having been.
Probably, but it could be all of us back then.
Because, like
especially
I
if
said,
you really got this country boy over here.
I mean, I feel like
easy.
he doesn't have a whole lot to do, so he probably goes out camping and fishing a lot. So,
I would say it definitely makes sense that everybody here isn't afraid of the outdoors, so to speak, like I am nowadays. I don't like bugs or anything. So, yeah, back then, bugs didn't hurt, right?
I've gone camping before with my foster families.
Okay. Did you go camping with your parents before they passed?
I don't really remember.
So it's that long ago.
I was 6.
Yeah. Probably blacked out a lot of the memories.
Of what? I don't remember anything.
Exactly.
I was kind of joking about the poop. I really don't like snakes. So I like camping and
You
I
like
like the
poop
woods,
snakes.
but I really don't like.
it's the worst of the snakes.
He's laying the chocolate waste snake.
I don't like snakes. So in the woods, I'll be keeping my eyes out.
You boys are nasty.
That's true. Boys
Boys
are
will be
nasty.
boys.
So you get through a couple of side roads following the directions. And at some point,
I'm definitely making it sure I can win the bet. Getting there.
and you are. And at some point, Rutherford, you realize that without the directions, you'd have never found this place. And you know how to navigate. I mean,
Of course.
there's just too many turns and too many unmarked roads that on the directions it says, go up a quarter of a mile and take a slight right. And on the road, there's really no slight right. It's just like cobblestone off to the side. And you eventually find the last road that is labeled, but it's labeled in an old sign that it looks like it's handwritten. The Piglet?
Little Piglet Drive.
Little Piglet Drive. And that's kind of handwritten on a little piece of wood on the side of a tree. It's overgrown.
Is the piece of wood shaped like a piglet?
It is now.
Oh, that's awesome.
And all the writing is like a little squirrely, or swirly pigtail-looking writing.
It's crazy.
That's a new font now. It's called Piglet font. And you turn down the road and it just kicks up dust behind you as you're driving down there. And it's I don't know, maybe like a half mile or so, and there's kind of a little clearing. And as far as the directions say, this is where you ought to be. So you found your spot. It's about 2 p.m, we'll say, and it took you 1 hour and 10 minutes.
And I bet that it would be less than an hour, right?
Yeah,
You lost the bet.
Who was driving?
he did.
It was.
You're gonna lose.
Shouldn't have bet
You're gonna
the
lose
drive.
2 bets this weekend.
I shouldn't have made a bet. I should have made a bet I couldn't control. But you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
All right, take it out and give you your quarter.
Thank you, sir.
Just a casual exchange. I know it's coming back my way later.
So let's you guys treat this kind of as a montage. It's going to be setting up camp, having dinner, getting ready for sleep. Who does what? How do you split the chores up? This is campsite time.
I'm just gonna walk around the edge and get some firewood and
Actually, set up the tents, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
just pick up little sticks and twigs and stuff.
And
Nothing heavy.
There
'cause
are
I'm a girl.
lots of down branches, brush, and there's plenty of stuff you can light.
I gather rocks
Easy.
to make the fire pit. Because that's gonna be
Yeah,
important.
cool. We'll work on that together.
I was told apparently I'm very good at cooking.
We'll get you enough wood so you can cook us up something real tasty.
Sounds good. I'm good at hot dogs. And
Hot dogs. You want a
accessories.
hot dog, Seamus? Aren't you hungry?
I don't know. I might go light on the hot dogs.
I'd be more worried about the coffee in the morning.
About my brand hot dogs.
Skeet brand hot dog.
High fiber brand coffee.
One joke popped into my head, and now we're gonna have 3 episodes of poop jokes.
Get it out of the way.
You know what I'm glad they did not have in 1942 is Tostitos with a hint of lime.
Oh dear
These things are
Lord!
like freaking crack.
I'm pretty sure there weren't too many processed foods like that then.
That are engineered literally so that I can't stop eating them. That's why I rarely eat this stuff.
It's not such a bad thing, really. I mean, what I like, though, is you bring them, and you put them on the table and eat them, and then push them to someone else.
Yeah.
Like, get these away from
But
me.
then they immediately come back in.
Exactly.
Right. So Becky and I are getting wood and stones. Kind of. I've got
Firewood. Please be
Sorry.
specific.
Yes.
We're getting
Firewood.
stoned.
and
Wood,
Stone,
getting
get
wood and getting
wood.
stoned.
I've got a little hatchet, so I'm chopping up some of the wood, into tinder and kindling. Making a little teepee fire to get started.
So you got the fire started. What is it that that Skeet is going to put into his seasoned cast iron skillet?
I'm going to make my famous hot dog casserole.
Oh, casserole. Does it have granola in it? Because
Absolutely.
Becky brought granola.
It does today.
It does.
Awesome.
That beautiful granola crust.
From what So what I got out of this, because it's a casserole, you can kind of throw anything in it, right? So based on what you guys said you brought, you have eggs, bacon, granola, soda, and hot dogs.
Maybe we have some dry pasta or something.
And pasta.
They all go in there.
And that's hot dog casserole.
Wait, no soda.
There's a little soda.
Don't waste my soda.
You need some liquid in it, right?
It's the secret.
Oh God.
And
We would have brought veggies from our gardens because this is back when people actually
that sounds reasonable.
grew things.
Plus, you might find a couple of berries or something around the woods that somebody would know is edible.
So throw some tomatoes in there.
So you finish up dinner. It's getting later, starting to get dark out. What's the sleeping arrangements? Going with that picture I put out there, they had a cot out there, so I'm sure you could have fit a couple of cots or maybe even 4 in that trailer. Whatever else. One of the things I did read about in 1942 is they didn't have much in the way of sleeping bags outside of the military. So you're probably just there with blankets
Wool
and a
blankets.
cot kind of thing.
Yeah, sheet and blanket probably.
Yeah. And who sleeps where? We're going to have a tent, and everyone could probably fit in the tent. I'm sure it's big enough, unless you're doing 2 tents. I just want to get an idea, because later when the bad stuff comes to get you, I need to know where you are. Right?
All right.
If it's
We're
nice
in a
enough
tent?
out, if it's not too cold,
Yeah,
I will be outside so I can see the stars and stuff.
What I'm going to say is let's just make it that it's cold enough at night that you want to be bundled up, but it's not so hot in the day that you're sweating your ass off, right? It's probably 70-something during the day, 50-something overnight.
I'm wondering
Are you out in like a bivvy bag just outside? the
Yeah,
tent?
whatever I
Can we
was
do
able
that?
to obtain from the military after I left, I'm going to have.
Yeah.
Can he be just outside the tent, but sleep sleep
Anybody can, wherever you want to lay out.
I was wondering with Becky whether maybe she would be separate from us, like from a. Like
I could see her
modesty of
sleeping on
40,
the opposite side of the tent from Seamus if those two were in a tent kind of thing.
or if like only
I
one
don't
of
think
us
she'd
can
be
fit
sharing
in
a
that trailer.
cot.
Like,
No,
I
I
don't know
mean,
if
like it
she would
just
be the
depends
only one.
on if we're on cots, then we could just put the cots on different
So,
walls.
as a matter of technicality, I don't think Becky would sleep in the dark in a wheeled vehicle.
No,
Yeah.
I would not sleep in the camper. I don't want to be alone in the dark out there.
You can technically sleep in the car too.
True.
But
Maybe I would do that.
in the car in the dark.
But I could lock
How
the
modest?
doors.
How modest is she?
Pretty modest. I
She's a
mean,
bad girl, but she's modest.
yeah. I mean, I'm not a slut. I'm not.
We got the rest
No,
of the trip.
I'm troubled, but I'm not naughty.
When
You
It's
could
not
start
easy
in
like
the
Sunday
car, and
morning.
then if you get scared, you could come in the tent.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'll sleep in the car, and I'm going to lock the doors
Okay.
of the car so
Wow.
that nothing
when she
can get
chooses
me.
that, Skeet's a little bit happy because he actually gets his cot back. Because we didn't plan on her showing up.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll sleep in the back seat specifically.
So when people wake up in the morning,
So I
the
can
windows of the
stretch
car
out.
will be all steamed up. That'll be good.
Handprints.
Yes.
Hey,
Tent's not going to smell as nice as it was before.
and I may never go in the tent again.
That tent will smell horrible after.
After the hot dog casserole. That's exactly why. I'm glad Becky's not sleeping in there tonight because I had a hot dog casserole and I got to hold it for 2 more days.
Guess what we're having tomorrow? Hot dog casserole.
Recycled hot dog. The leftovers.
Leftovers.
All right. So as people get to sleep for the night, I need each person to roll a smart roll. Please.
So is high still good for this? Is that how we're working it? High is good.
I have a target number. You have to match or exceed that.
Okay.
Yes.
He's your target number 1.
I got a hick.
Mm-hmm.
The top one is a D10, right?
That is correct. Yeah, it's 4, 6, 8, 10 or 10, 8, 6, 4, depending on how you
2 on
open
my
it.
D8.
I think you're muted, Kurt.
Yeah.
I rolled a 2 on my D8.
I rolled a
rolled a
2
2.
on my D10.
Oh,
I rolled a 6 on my
Really dumb.
Did
D6.
anybody decide they wanted to add a second stat into this?
It depends what it is, I guess.
Right. Well, I'm just curious. I want to start off by saying that. So
I'll
to
add my
start,
calm.
did anybody? You had a 6.
Correct.
You did. Okay. So we'll leave that one as is because that will make a difference in the morning.
Okay.
And then there will be one more roll. Now this one is while you're sleeping. It's a restless sleep tonight, and you're going to make another smart roll because of this restless sleep, which means that's where you can decide.
This die. No.
What did you roll?
Another 2.
I got a 3.
Okay, so now you can add another
That's your top stat.
Yeah.
You could add another stat if you want to say,
I'll-
why would your character not be restless?
I would add my calm because I'm used to this.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's what I was
would-
gonna
And
say.
that's what I'm looking at here. I want to
Calm.
introduce the mechanic. So now roll
I got a 10 on
roll
my calm.
both. Is what I'd like to do is before the roll decide what you want, and then we'll roll it. All right.
Okay. So
But you're fine with the 2
Smart and
plus
calm.
the other one, or whatever you do.
well, the calm came up a 6,
I mean, do we all?
and I had
Are
the
we
2
adding
on
together?
the other one.
It adds to your total number.
So 13.
So 8.
Do we care if we get high, or is it going to be more fun if we get low?
I only had a 3 total.
So that matters.
So you had a bad sleep.
I had a bad sleep.
I had a 6 total.
Okay. So can I see your character sheet there,
Absolutely.
Mr. Skeet?
And see
It's
what
got a
bad
recipe
things
on the
gonna
back
happen.
for hot dog casserole.
No, I had to look at the back part. So all night in your dreams, you're being chased by people with guns shooting at you,
Oh God.
and
oh,
it doesn't
no.
stop. And every time you turn around, it looks like they have another arm, and they're holding another gun,
Oh,
and they're
please.
shooting
Now,
more at you.
Oh
Mr.
gosh.
Mr. Many-Armed Person, put the gun down. Put it down. Put it out. Oh God. That's what you hear across across the tent all night long. Is,
Oh, no.
oh God, Mr. Gun. No, gun.
Thankfully,
No.
I'm in the car and I can't hear any of that.
Now, shortly before sunrise, there is a boom, kind of like, I don't know, like the beginning of an earthquake, but it doesn't continue. There's just kind of, call it an exploding sound, a big thunk, thud, whatever, all around. And that kind of gets you guys woken up shortly before sunrise. So everyone kind of wakes up.
But it's not a thunder boom.
No. I mean, it was a noise that woke you up. A big thud.
Like dynamite in a quarry.
Maybe. From
Yeah,
a
does
few
it sound
miles
like
away.
Yeah, I actually
Does it
know
sound
what
like
that
an
sounds like.
explosive I would recognize?
Okay, because you had that 6 on your roll, Ruth. I'm going to keep saying Ruth. You're sure that it came from underground somewhere. That sound was something that there was a boom underground somewhere.
Any mines in these parts?
Nope.
You
As
didn't
far
even-
as you know,
You didn't
no.
even know there was a campground in these parts.
Well, that's true.
But there was some stories around the campground that just used to be a place for the family to go. At one time, they were going to build it. You know, there was talk about building a cabin. It never happened. Blah blah blah. That type of thing.
It corresponds with like one of the guns going off in my dream,
Oh, bro.
and I just fall out of bed like onto
Yeah.
the floor, and I'm like, where? Here.
A hot dog casserole or something. Ooh.
Maybe I'll sit up in the car and kind of look around.
The windows
Did
would
I-
be. I'm going to say the windows would be steamed up if you
Yeah.
were sleeping in the car and it was
And it's
50
cool.
degrees overnight. Yeah,
I'll roll the windows down a little bit and just like peek out and look around.
yeah. Except for
see
people
anything.
waking up, nothing special. And that's where we'll finish part 1 of this episode.
We survived the night.
Yay!
Yay!
That one was intended to be survived. If anyone died, that would have been bad.
You're all poisoned by hot dog casserole. Victory is mine.
Roll for hot dogs.
In the meantime, we can all say
Bye-bye.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by One Joe Young. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.